Hey, what's up guys? This is TalkingHidef. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm over here with my man Revoka.
Hey, what's up?
And we're gonna be bringing you a video on how to improve your aim. We're bringing you the cure to potato aim.
Everyone's main problem is the potato aim.
It's a potato aim. I suffer from that myself.
Practice, man. Just practice.
This is going to be a video on how to improve your aim. This is part 1 of the video. It's going to be about the gameplay variants. And before we get started, there's a few things that I want to let you guys know. We're going to be doing a Battlefield podcast called the Battlefield Talk Show. That's going to be pretty amazeballs. More info about that, we'll give it to you when we have it, because right now we don't have it. So, but it's going to be really soon, we can tell you that much. So probably within this week or the next. Okay, what do you think?
Yeah, maybe this week, maybe next. Need to work out some graphics and whatnot, but yeah, I should be able to get kick in anytime soon.
So this video, like I said, is going to be about improving your aim. And with all this being said, let's get to it. So one of the gameplay variants that you want to take into consideration is the perspective of the game that you're trying to get better at. So if it's a first person and a third person, or I should say a first person or a third person, it changes the gameplay mechanics and how you progress into the game in order to get better at it.
For sensitivity, I would suggest starting small and going up until you're a bit more comfortable. A lot of the pro players literally max out at about 1800 DPI, but some play as low as 400. It just depends what you're used to. I mean, back in the day, like before gaming mice were even a thing, you just play with this little rubber ball thing in your mouse and you just played at whatever your mouse would play at, which were generally quite low, be around 400 DPI, dots per inch, I believe.
Correct.
And a lot of the pro players have been playing for a long time. It's not, you don't just get a PC, play Counter-Strike for a week and you're a pro. And a lot of them basically they've moved on to gaming mouse obviously, but they kept the sensitivity the same because they don't want to upset the game too much, which is entirely understandable. I mean, a lot of them play at really low resolutions, like not even HD resolution. They're playing, I can't remember the exact one, but it's like 1000 by 600 or something. And I'm pretty sure the aspect ratio is not even 16:9, it's 4:3. It's almost like a square monitor. So I'd suggest keeping your sensitivity low. What a lot of people do, so if you're playing Battlefield for example, they'll keep the movement sensitivity, so non-ADS, which is aim down sight, the same as when you look down sight, so it's constant and it's what you're used to. I personally like to have it at about 50%, so I can spin around and move really fast and then aim, and then you've got a bit more precision on your aim.
Yeah, and I've seen your gameplay. I mean, you can see the gameplay as we speak, and you're a lot more spot on than I am. So the only thing I can actually say is this is more of a case-to-case scenario, whereas when you're first starting on PC, for example, and you don't really know, just start from the bottom, at the lowest sensitivity, and go up from there as you feel like you need to.
There's just something I want to add, I forgot. As well, obviously you're not buying a PC and just playing Battlefield or like Counter-Strike. You're playing a bunch of different games, and a lot of different games have lots of different sensitivities, and what is a good idea is to work out what turning centimeter you have, so how many centimeters of mouse movement it takes for you to do a 360. There's a website which will be in the link called mousesensitivity.com, and you can work out what sensitivity you need to run in game so it all feels the same, just to keep it all constant and keep everything happy.
So the next point that we want to bring up is the type of weapon that you really want to use. I mean, a lot of people really just like shotgunning around, you know what I mean? And for that, the sensitivity on the mouse, as we've been speaking a lot about sensitivity, is going to change drastically if you shotgun or if you sniper, or if you use handgun. You don't really ADS, you just hip fire and stuff like that. So for example, a sniper rifle, Revoka, what is your suggestion, your advice for somebody that wants to get better at sniping? I believe you even have a video about this.
Yeah, I've got a video which I'll link into it. In terms of mouse sensitivity, which is like the topic, you want to keep it relatively low, but as you find a target, you want a non-ADS, and then learn where the center of your screen is to ADS into it, so you can just do a small movement to adjust your aim onto the head, rather than to zoom in and then try and move half the map away. So you can keep that low sensitivity just so it's really accurate. That'd be my main suggestion, but obviously I've got like a 10-minute video on sniping, which covers everything.
And if you're using a weapon like a automatic or a semi-auto, it changes from the sniper, but not drastically. In my opinion, you're gonna be doing a lot of hip fire. If you have an automatic or a semi-auto, you don't really want to go into ADS that much because it's much more for, you know, close quarters. You can be a little more generous with the sensitivity. You can, you know, increase it a bit more, where you would have a sniper, let's say on, let's go about DPI. So if on a sniper, if you're starting out by 400 DPI, you're gonna find that it's gonna be a little slower to move if you're using a semi-auto or an auto. So you want to increase that probably like what, 550, 600, so that way just spray multiple targets without having to move your mouse so much.
Well, you've got to remember, when you're a sniper, you're probably going to be engaging people at 100 meters plus, whereas as an assault player using an full auto rifle, you're probably going to be at 15 to 20 meters. So you need to be able to move freely. So I would suggest increasing your sensitivity by 25-30%, maybe more. But if you do find that your aim is going to and from, just decrease your ADS sensitivity so you can keep that nice and accurate.
And if you're using a handgun, you probably shouldn't be ADSing anyways, unless it's like a game like Destiny or Fortnite where you have hand cannons. But if it's like a sidearm, don't bother even ADSing. Just pull it out and
spam
spray.
That shit.
Yeah, pretty much. So the next topic that we're gonna cover is bullet behavior. And what I mean by this is, like, every game is different when it comes to this, as far as values and just bullet behavior in general. So some games, they have hit scan, and whereas, you know, you're aiming, for example, in Destiny 2, you have a sniper, you aim, and as soon as you pull the trigger or, you know, the click, the bullet is there automatically. So as long as you're aiming at that person, you're gonna hit that person. Whereas in Battlefield or even Fortnite and PUBG, you have to kind of like lead your shots because there's bullet travel. It takes time for the bullet to get to where you're aiming it at, and if the target is moving, then you need to take that into consideration.
Like I say, I've never used the option where you can adjust your scope for how far out you're shooting on Battlefield. I just sort of have a bit of a sixth sense because I've played that many Battlefield games that, alright, I need to aim sort of that much in front, and not only that, most people that are sniping on Battlefield are just laid on the floor anyway, and it's harder to actually miss your shot than what it is to miss it.
Yeah, because ultimately it doesn't change the gun itself, right? It just changes the scope.
Yeah.
So you need to like read the graph on the scope differently. But when you're playing the game, the adrenaline is too high. You're not gonna bring out a notebook to see, you know, like how far is the enemy, and start counting lines to see where you need to aim your shot. So like whatever gun you like for, you know, for sniper or any gun that has bullet travel, you need to get acquainted with the gun so that way you know what the travel speed is going to be, like the bullet velocity.
The key to sniping in Battlefield 1 is to use the same sniper rifle all the time with the same scope. So you know how much it's going to drop by every time, and it's just a case of learning it. It doesn't take much, you know, a few hours, and you'll know exactly how much it drops by at certain distances. Yeah, that's something that really bugs me about PUBG, is that there's no hit detector.
Yep.
Nothing happens in it. That's something I really dislike about the game.
Yeah, a lot of people are actually complaining about that. I really hope they fix that. And speaking about PUBG, another very big thing that you need to take into consideration, because again, it's not just about your aim, it's how you are playing the game and what game you're playing and what mode of the game that you're playing that is going to determine how you are going to behave as far as your game style. So if you're playing a battle royale game, I feel like you have more leniency to land your shots because it's a game that it's pretty much more stealthy than anything. So if you're catching somebody off guard, you have more time to actually, you know, land your headshots. If it's a game like PUBG, it's more lenient in that way. Whereas if you're playing a game like Team Deathmatch, is like go, 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 you should get acquainted or get in the habit of always aiming for the head, so keeping the aim head level. But if the guy is right in front of you, you shouldn't give a crap at aiming for the head if your aim is not all that good. Just shoot at him. Jesus Christ, shoot.
Yeah, if he's right in front of you, don't be trying to adjust the head, just spam that shit.
Don't move, let me shoot your head.
Yeah. Too much time to readjust, and you'll just end up dead. Just if they're close. It's just a case of having good practice. That's it, really.
Yeah, making it a habit. That's what you said
Yeah.
earlier is super spot on, dude. As long as you know the center of your monitor, that's where your shot will be all the time. So you should get acquainted with leaving the crosshair of the monitor head level, so that way when you meet somebody, the chances of hitting the headshot are gonna be higher. Whereas if you're always looking at the ground, I guess looking for pennies on the ground or something, you're just gonna be hitting ankles all the time.
Yeah, one thing that I have done in the past to improve my aim when I first started out as gaming goes, when I was a lot younger, I actually got a piece of blue tack, and a tiny piece of blue tack, and just stuck it smack in the center of my screen. And when you're just running around, it helps you keep about a head level, and it's something that's really, really good. But
Dude,
there's several techniques what you can do to do that.
It's so funny. I did the same shit, bro.
Yeah, a lot of people usually get a piece of cotton and have a piece of cotton going straight down the screen and all the way across, just using a bit of blue tack. But I thought that were a little bit intrusive.
Yeah, but also if you're playing on a PC, chances are that you're using a gaming monitor. And fortunately, most game monitors nowadays, like mine for example, has an option that you can add a crosshair to the monitor. And this is a feature in the monitor, not in the game. So if you're like recording gameplay or something, it's not gonna show, but it's still there. So even when you're not ADSing or you're not scoping, it's still gonna mark the center of the screen. So if you have that, you should use it and get in the habit of leaving your aim always head level.
Right, so positioning is the next bullet point that I've got down here. And one of the main things that I find is that having a height advantage over somebody. I mean, a lot of games now are using vertical space, so such as Destiny 2 and even Battlefield, you go on a lot of balconies and stuff like that. And if you're on a balcony or using your vertical space, you've got an advantage over somebody because you're basically, the main thing that you can see is the head. And obviously, if you aim for the head, you get a better multiplier on your target, so you do more damage. And so if you can sort of stay on the higher ground the majority of the time, you should be winning your gunfights. But obviously, you're going to want to stay in cover if you can and take a shot. I know some games taking a shot in cover is not really one of those things, but in Battlefield, definitely, is staying in cover is one of the most important things. It will save your life numerously if you're playing as a medic. So if you're running up to some cover, chuck some med bags down. You might not need them, but chuck med bags down. If you're in a gunfight, you pop up out of cover, take some shots, and if you get shot, you can just pop down and it'll start auto healing you. And it's the same as well. If you're on a long range map, you don't want to be running around with a short range rifle because the damage drop off is going to be so big that you're basically just shooting peas at people or sweet corn, whatever. And you're going to need to pick the right weapon for the right mode or map.
Even aside from height advantage, you have, like, for example, knowing, being aware of what's going on in the map. And in Battlefield, you get a good sense of that. So if you know that the bulk of the enemy is up north, you're not gonna just approach them head on. You're gonna try to get the flank. So you're gonna approach from either east or west, because you know that they're just gonna be focused on what's in front of them, and you're always gonna find people that are gonna be looking around because it's common. That's what everybody would do. But it gives you a survival chance. All right, so you're gonna be shooting at them, but they're not even aware of you. So that is aside from height advantage. Also, you mentioned that when you're high, you get the headshot first. Very true. And the opposite goes for them. It's way harder for them to land a headshot on you if you're above them. So having the height advantage has a huge impact on how long you're going to survive. Finally, we got the subject of scopes. Obviously, if you're playing with a shotgun, you're not gonna put a 4x scope on the shotgun because it's nonsensical and you're gonna die. So knowing the type of scope that you want to use and what actually works for you more than what is good for you. Because even if everybody tells you, oh, this scope sucks, but you know that you're doing good with it, dude, stick with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing. I've had that all the time. Like, I used to know a chap that used to use a Hellregal, and he used to use a 2.5 zoom on it. They were, oh no, it sucks. You it's got more recoil and stuff like that. Because obviously, if it's more zoomed in, it's not actually got more recoil, but in terms of visual recoil, it's got more. But it worked for him, and everyone used to say, "Oh no, you need to change it down to 1x zoom." And he tried it, and he couldn't use it to save his life. So if it works, stick to it.
Yeah, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Exactly.
So know the scope that works for you. Whichever scope works for you, stick to it. And that is it for today, guys. That's what we got for you for part 1 of this video. Again, if you want to see part 2, click on the link in the description below, so that way you can get all the other good information that is going to be valuable for you to, you know, get rid of the aim potato, or potato aim. You know what I mean? Again, my name is TalkingHidef.
And I'm Revoker.
You can find me on Twitter at TalkingHidef, on Facebook.com/TalkingHidef, and on my YouTube channel, where I be streaming and uploading every Sunday. Well, uploads are every Sunday. I stream whenever I have possible because I have to be adulting.
Yeah, we all have to be adults, but I'm the same. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, or Discord. I'll post all the links on the video, and I hope to see you again soon.